Hey guys, this was a last minute live. We're waiting for Jacqueline and Trezell's lawyers to make a statement. Hey GB, I'll be right back, guys. Hey Pamela. Hey Shredder. Yeah, I want to know where the boys are too. Let's see what these lawyers say. Oh, I see somebody. I'll be right back, guys. This was really last minute. Here we go. Here we go. Hey Kelly.
All right, we'll get started. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us here today. My name is Tim Hennessy. I'm lead counsel for Mr. Trezell West. Associated counsel with me will be Joshua Fleshman. He's not present at this moment. Here with me also is Alekxia Torres Stallings. She represents Ms. Jacqueline West. And associated counsel for Ms. Jacqueline West will be Ms. Fatima Rodriguez, here present to my left. This will be the only time defense counsel will be addressing the media, making statements about the case until after the trial. We won't be answering any questions here today. We won't be discussing any facts of the case. Our clients, we've spoken to them about this. They're behind this. They understand our need to getting our side out. Last week, our clients, Mr. and Mrs. West, were arraigned on an indictment of 5 counts, including second-degree murder, and that came as a result of a grand jury convict. There's been great confusion about the differences between trial and the confusion seems to not be more different. First, the standard of proof is lower for a grand jury. They need to only determine probable cause, which is one of the lowest legal standards our system holds. They also do not require a unanimous vote of the jury. The prosecution also has broad discretion in determining how to proceed and doing so by way of the grand jury process lacks an important role of our criminal justice system, and that is the accused and their counsel being present during. There's no opportunity to cross-examine any witnesses, and it is basically ran by the district attorney. This is to the detriment of the accused, as evidence of a speculative nature has a way of integrating itself into this most secretive of all legal proceedings. On the other hand, a trial by jury, they must unanimously agree on the issue of guilt or not guilty. And there you have the highest standard of proof, which is beyond a reasonable doubt, and it is a proceeding done in open court. The state's comment and reliance on this "we have proved to a grand jury" is mere rhetoric. It's used as an insurance to bolster a lopsided indictment. Comments such as this have no place in an actual court of law, where it is 12 individuals who unanimously decide the outcome of this case based on this highest level of burden of proof, which is beyond a reasonable doubt. Statements that have been used by the Kern County District Attorney in her press conference tend to invoke a tidal wave of emotion towards finding guilt, whether substantiated or not, and this will taint a local jury pool and could deny our clients a chance at a fair trial. It's odd that the office held their press conference, made a series of comments which both mis- and disinformed the public, then the following day came and requested a gag order to stop the defense from having an ability to make similar comments. This action is disingenuous, but may also cause change for a change of venue in the future. This is an election year, and this case is serving as a compass to guide the DA to her path of re-election. However, it is now when the misleads and theater end, and the constitutional protections begin. The safeguards of the accused and the fight to preserve those for Trezell and Jacqueline West begin now. And I think
Mark, can you turn up perfection?
Buenas tardes a todos. Gracias por acompañarnos a nuestra conferencia de prensa conjunta. Primeramente, me gustaría comenzar presentando a los abogados. Timothy Hennessy, el abogado principal para señor West. Joshua Fleshman, abogado asociado con señor West. Y yo, Alekxia Torres Stallings, abogada principal de la señora Jacqueline Martínez West. Fátima Rodríguez, abogada asociado de la señora West. Esta será la única vez que los abogados defensores se dirigirán a los medios de comunicación hasta después del final del juicio. No responderemos a ninguna pregunta hoy después de la conferencia. Tenga en cuenta que hemos hablado con nuestros clientes que están al tanto de la conferencia de hoy y tampoco discutiremos ninguno de los hechos relacionados con el caso. Comentarios como estos no tienen. Perdóname. La semana pasada, el señor y señora West fueron procesados por una acusación de 5 cargos, incluyendo asesinato en segundo grado como resultado de una reunión del gran jurado. Existe una gran confusión entre los dos jurados de juicio y los gran jurados, y los dos no podrían ser más diferentes. Primero, el estándar de prueba es más bajo para un gran jurado, necesitando solo determinar la causa probable, uno de los estándares más bajos de prueba. Tampoco requieren unanimidad. La Fiscalía tiene amplia discrecionalidad para determinar proceder a través de la acusación. Este proceso carece de un papel crucial y importante del sistema de justicia. El acusado y sus abogados no están presentados durante el procedimiento y los abogados defensores no tuvieron la oportunidad de entregar a los testigos de la Fiscalía. En detrimento de los acusados, la prueba de naturaleza especulativa tiene una forma de congregarse con el más secreto de todos los procedimientos legales. Por otro lado, un juicio por jurado debe acordar unánimemente la cuestión de culpable o no culpable por el más alto nivel de prueba más allá de una duda razonable y hacerlo en juicio abierto al público. El comentario del Estado demostraremos el gran jurado es pura retórica, utilizado como garantía por reforzar su acusación desigual. Comentarios como estos no tienen cabida en el verdadero tribunal y justicia, donde 12 personas que le deben decir por unanimidad el resultado de este caso sobre la base del cargo mayor de la prueba más allá de una duda razonable. Declaraciones como la utilizada por la fiscal de distrito el condado de Kern en su conferencia de prensa tienden a evocar un holo de emoción hacia la culpable y sea fundamentado o no, que marcha el grupo de jurados locales y niega a nuestros clientes un juicio justo. Eso extraño que la oficina celebrar una conferencia de prensa hiciera una serie de comentarios que desinformen y desinformen al público. Y luego, el día siguiente, envía a su abogado a la corte en busca de un orden de mordaza. Esta acción no solo es insincero, sino que también puede crear una causa para un cambio de sitio en el futuro. Este es un año electoral y este caso sirve como la estrella norte que guía la fiscal hacia su camino de reelección. Sin embargo, aquí es donde terminan las trampas y el teatro y comienzan las protecciones y las salvaguardas constitucionales de señor West y señora West, los acusados. Muchas gracias. Thank you everyone for being here today.
I know you guys can't talk about facts of the case, but can we ask you questions just about what it is that you said, just for further clarification?
About grand juries in particular?
Exactly. So, just for like the common layperson,
Sure.
Can you explain the difference between finding having probable cause in order to pass an indictment and beyond a reasonable doubt? Just could you explain that a little bit further?
I mean, generally speaking, yeah. So generally speaking, probable cause is the standard kind of being used day to day by law enforcement on whether or not to make an arrest. Right. That is is there a probability something here happened? Okay. Beyond a reasonable doubt is like that probably happened. Right. I mean that I don't have my calculus in front of me, but it's the idea that that it is more probable than not that the guilt of this offense has been proven, right? The question is not should or not this person be arrested, and that's where we're at now. It was there enough for these charges to be brought? But the highest standard beyond a reasonable doubt, that's far off. That's so far from where we're at now. But because we hear jury, we hear grand jury, trial jury, there's this general sense to think, well, they must have proven this. This must have been proven beyond reasonable doubt, and that is not what happened. That is not what a grand jury is. A grand jury is a way to bring charges, much like how we have preliminary hearings all day, every day in the downtown courthouse. That's the same thing to get you in the same place.
Okay.
That they're two wildly different things, a grand jury and a trial jury.
Will you have a prelim?
I didn't know if you wanted me to. Did you want me to answer that in Spanish as well?
I
don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. So, la causa probable es el más abajo forma de los estándares. So, por ejemplo, es cuando la policía hay un arrestado una persona, es el más abajo, lo más abajo. Y para las estándares de duda de razonable es más alta. So, por ejemplo, no es probablemente, no es posiblemente, pero es más alta de esos. ¿Ok? Más alta de probablemente, más alta de posiblemente.
Any sense of the timeline when you guys hope to move forward with trial? Or is it still up in the air, depending on the information you guys are allowed?
That's difficult considering the stage we're at right now. As far as what we know and need to prepare for, I do know that our position as well as our clients is to be vindicated as soon as possible.
Where do you guys stand on the gag order tomorrow and why?
So I can answer that in English and then I'll go back. So we are going to be joining in the request for the gag order for a number of reasons. We do not want more misinformation to be spread before the jury trial. There has been very, very few number of cases that have had the opportunity to have a change of venue granted. I believe that there was one, not recently, but I believe that it came back on the Robert Mistrial trial, I believe was one of them. And so in order to ensure that our jury pool here isn't tainted, we are going to be joining on that gag order as well. ¿Quiere que yo decir eso en español también? Okay. So, nosotros queremos el orden también porque no hay muchos casos aquí en Kern County donde hay un papel de orden para cambiar el sitio. So, yo nomás piensa un jurado de Robert Mistrial, excuse me. Entonces, nosotros queremos juntar en pide la corte porque no quiere que personas aquí no tomen mucha información que no es correcto antes del jurado.
And there will be no prelim?
No, there won't be a prelim because that is what the grand jury accomplished. So rather than proceed through prelim, it proceeded by way of grand jury, which is fine. It's an option, but it is to think that it is somehow superior or has proven more or means more, that's inaccurate.
When you guys say change of venue, could you just be a little bit more clear? What do you mean by that?
So if we go back to the trial that I cited earlier, that the incident took place here in Kern County, but the attorneys were able to prove in court that a significant portion of the people in Kern County were aware of the case and essentially argued that the jury pool would have already made up their mind had they decided to stay here. Again, these are not granted often, but it is something that we may be able to do considering the large amount of coverage that this case has garnered.
So basically, it would just be arguing it in a different district type of thing.
Right. Same trial, just in a different county. También para en español. So, en el orden para cambiar el sitio, no hay muchos casos aquí que eso es la realidad. Entonces, nosotros estamos diciendo que es posible para cambiar el jurado porque, por ejemplo, hay muchas personas aquí en Kern County que either sabíamos o tenemos una opinión de este caso. And so, por ejemplo, es más mejor para pedir a la corte para cambiar el county, pero es el mismo jurado.
And to clarify, are you guys saying the DA went the grand jury route for political reasons?
So, in viewing the press conference, I believe that she had indicated that they went the press conference route for some reasons that may have dealt with scheduling purposes. Although that can happen, there is also something that counsel can agree to in order to allow the prelim to be continuous. She did state that there were a lot of high-profile cases in which they have chosen to go by way of indictment. between Mr. Hennessy and our law firm, we were thinking of a couple of our high-profile cases, and those ones have not gone by way of indictment.
What challenges does this sort of present to you guys? You mentioned you guys have had these kinds of high-profile cases, but what sort of barriers are you guys now presented with? I mean, obviously, there's the change in venue. Any other challenges that you guys are sort of facing and working through right now?
I would say in comparison to other cases, and I think one of the reasons why I wanted to speak today on behalf of Mr. West is the public's response to a lot of this has made it seem like it's a done deal. Like, why would you take this case? Why would you represent this person? He was found by this jury already. And to us, that's detrimental to the defense. That's like the fundamental purpose of this is innocent until proven guilty. And people are telling me, hey, it's a done deal. We saw it on the news. We heard it. A jury found him guilty. They proved it to a jury already. And to us, that's the most detrimental thing, because this has to be a jury of people ready to sit, listen, do their job, hear the evidence, make a decision. And if the whole community already thinks that's a done deal, no one's going to show up and take this seriously, then we've lost already. And that is the point today, is to make it clear what it is that was done and what still has to be done before you want to convict our clients.
Y también cuando leer los comentarios de, por ejemplo, YouTube o de la media, también hay muchos comentarios que personas están diciendo que ellos están culpables, porque necesitan un jurado, porque un gran jurado ya dice que ellos son culpables. Entonces, esa es la razón que nosotros piensan que esta conferencia es más importante para correctar las palabras, los estatutos de la fiscal.
But if you did in a normal way, the normal trial, would you still take the case?
I'm so sorry, I didn't understand the
If they
question.
did it the normal way that they did in a regular trial, like the normal way, would you guys still defend these people?
Yeah.
Right.
There's still innocent until proven guilty.
No, I understand.
No, and it doesn't matter if that's a grand jury putting charges or a holding order at a prelim. I'd have still taken the case. I just want the ground we're working with now for everyone to understand that we're in the same place had they been held to answer at a preliminary hearing.
Sí, porque es muy raro para hacer este tipo de audiencias. Es raro para hacer este tipo de audiencias, y también, like my counsel was saying, que ellos son inocentes ahora.
Can you guys confirm this case is being worked by you guys pro bono?
It
Is
is-
that what's going on?
It is not. So we are appointed through the Indigent Defense Panel. That is a program that is run through the Kern County Bar Association. And so that is how we have been appointed to the case.
And you guys are requesting a change of venue.
I think that's something we have to discuss further and see where we're at. I think the concern is that is where we end up, and we'd like to avoid that if we could. This should stay in Kern County. It's Kern County's people. So, but that being said, I think it's something that we are aware of and paying attention to.
In establishing sort of like the timeline that you guys are going to be working with here, and speaking to your clients as well, were you guys able to establish when exactly the West moved to California City?
I think that that's a little bit beyond the realm that we would like to discuss here today. We definitely do not mind talking procedure, but that's a little bit over what we wanted to discuss. Thank you.
You guys also said that there was some stuff that Ms. Zimmer said at a press conference that was like a little emotional, tugging at those strings. Could you talk specifically, what were the stuff that she said that really struck you as that?
It's not to say that this is not going to be an emotional case. However, we did believe that there was some phrasing that was used that to a lay person implicates one thing, but to an attorney or to many attorneys implicates another. When we hear stuff like, we proved to the grand jury, they were convinced, they believed, that isn't the standard in which they make their finding. And so to us, it was to more clarify that that isn't the standard. That isn't to say that the grand jury aren't humans and that they obviously can't make up their own mind. It's just that that's not the same standard in which we know the standard to be.
And then one last question, just more of like if a person isn't a lawyer, a gag order, when is that implemented? What's sort of the standard that has to be met there for a judge to be like, yes, we're going to go forward with this?
I would say the request of a gag order is relatively routine in a high profile case. I don't think there's anything out of the ordinary in requesting it. I think the only thing that didn't sit necessarily right with us was a press conference comes out and then they want to place a gag order. And I think to us it was like, well, we should also have our opportunity to address exactly what we've done here, how we see it differently.
Sure.
But other than that, not talking about the case, because the reason why then I think Alekxia talked about this as kind of the essence here is we want jurors who are going to sit and hear the evidence, how it's supposed to be presented. Let this play out. I mean, this is one of the fundamental things our society has is trial by jury, and it needs to stay pure and be what it should be. And that be 12 unbiased jurors listening to the evidence, making a decision. The minute that starts to seep into the jury pool and things change, that's our concern. We just want to get it now. So that's why tomorrow we would agree with the gag order.
There is currently, also a lawsuit that the county has placed on the West and North for, are you guys sort of going to tackle that lawsuit as well? Are you guys going to represent them on that litigation as well? Or is that going to complicate this for you guys a little bit?
So the answer to that right now would be no. It was my understanding that the lawsuit, the civil lawsuit, is filed by the biological father.
There's another one. So the county, the West are facing like a child support lawsuit, I believe, for the other children.
Okay.
So there's the biological one, but then there's also the one by the county.
And you're not referring to a dependency issue?
It is the dependency one.
Okay. Then in that case, we do not represent them in that particular matter. They actually have other attorneys who have also been court appointed through the Indigent Defense Program who represent them in that matter. That is not to say that we aren't working together. It's just that we aren't representing them on that matter.
All right, with that, we're good.
Okay, thank you so much. I was
One
just
last
gonna say,
question.
should tomorrow's motion for the gag order, should it be denied? Would that change your guys' stance, or do you think it would change your client's stance on further commenting on the details of this case?
Like you mean,
Like,
sorry,
public, in the beginning, you said that this would be, at this time, the only time you plan on addressing media and questions regarding the case. Tomorrow, should the gag order be denied and details come out before the trial or throughout the trial, would you guys consider readdressing media at that point?
So I think that at this point, if the prosecution and the defense are going to be joining in that motion, I don't necessarily see it being denied. The reality is that whether or not it is or is not denied, it would still be in our best interest to at least just wait until the trial. We don't want to use the potential motion for change of venue as a sword and a shield. We want to be able to articulate that motion if necessary and have it granted, again, if necessary, not by our own doing. So I think that regardless if it were or were not to be granted, we would still be abiding by the silence until the end of trial.
This agency you're talking about, did they come to you or did you go to them to take on this case?
The agency.
The Indigent Defense Panel, it assigned us. I mean, we were available for appointment.
It did, but I will note that we are asked if we would like to take on a case, specifically Mr. Hennessy and I, and we did choose to take this on.
Sorry, just to go back again to the change of venue question, you guys did say you guys have to discuss it a little bit further as well. But what would it depend on to motivate you guys to ask for a change of venue?
there are specific factors that we have to look into, that we actually have to do research on before we could bring that motion to court. As an officer of the court, we are bound from bringing frivolous motions, and so we want to ensure that there is at least some basis for that. I will point out that as you all have been covering this case, I too have been reading everything that you folks have been producing. But specifically, I would direct you to that Robert Mistrial case. I did read an article several years ago that indicated that I guess at the time of the hearing that the court was able to establish that 72 to 79% of the county either were aware of the case, had an opinion about that case, etc. Again, these are motions that are not granted often. And so a lot of times attorneys have to go back to the cases before us to determine how something can be brought about.
I would think the sentiment from both of us is, as pleasant as this has been, we'd rather not be doing this. We'd rather not be thinking about a change of venue. We'd rather just getting ready for a case, going before a jury and trying it. I think that would be our preference. I think in this one instance, because of the unique circumstances that got us here, we wanted to make this statement to point some things out before kind of shutting it down and doing it a trial like it should be done.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much.
More answers before we start the wrap up.
Okay.
Then we're gonna start wrapping all this stuff.
Okay. Thank you guys, and y'all tricked us into answering questions.
All right.
Okay, let me turn this down. Kaz, you got your little toy on over there?
No, I do not. I turned it down. I did
Okay.
have the fan. I had the fan on 3 because it's so blinking hot here.
Yeah, this was a last minute thing, guys, just to get this out there. We're not going to stay long. Let's just talk. So let me get this straight. First of all, they probably couldn't even go to a city in Iceland and they don't know about the West Boys. I mean, it's going to be what it is. But are you appointed by the state, or did you get appointed and then you chose to accept it?
No, from my understanding, how that process works, they have X amount of attorneys in their basket, and they go to that do public defender work. They go to those. They'll choose X amount, offer them the job, but the attorney can say no.
Yeah.
But they didn't. They accepted it, and now
Of course
all
they
costs are
did.
paid by the taxpayers.
Of course
So
they
it's
chose it. If I was an attorney, I would choose this big case too, because he's going to get recognition from it.
absolutely.
Kind of like Jose with Orlando. I can't forget her name. How can I forget the one that in Orlando? The mom, the baby. I went brain dead, guys. Kelsey, the woman in Orlando that worked for Universal, she was saying, and she killed her little daughter and the parents and gone for a month, and Zanny the nanny.
I can't remember. It's too early in the morning for me.
I can't believe I forgot her name.
Shredder never happened.
Jose Valles, yes, Patty, but what was her name? The one that Casey Anthony, thank you. I cannot believe I went blank on her. And why didn't Jacqueline's attorney speak?
The one that was standing to the left of that guy.
And the white shirt with the straight hair.
Well, I suppose. Well, hang on a minute. Now I'm confused. Those two, that guy and that woman, aren't they from different attorney's office?
Well, I'm confused now because when they came up, I thought the man was Trezell's. I thought the lady in the white was Jacqueline's, and I thought she was going to be the translator.
Yeah.
So how come the lady? So who was? So out of curiosity, not that it makes a big deal, who was the lady in the white shirt? So the Spanish lady that was translating is Jacqueline's lawyer.
Hang on, I've got the names. Hang on.
Yeah, I just found that interesting that she didn't. They are a team, I believe. Yeah, they're a team. I was expecting the lady in the white to talk as Jacqueline's lawyer. That's what I came off as when they first came into the room, and she was going to translate. I don't think it matters though. I think the two women are Jacqueline's attorneys. All right, Jen B. But yes, I do hope that this goes to court, the live TV, if it goes to trial. But I still have a feeling that Jacqueline is going to get some loose lips.
I don't think she'll do it initially. She'll see how the trial goes.
Why did you just come up on my phone? Kitty, my cat is turning you up on my phone, Kaz. And there he goes again. Kitty, get off the phone.
Okay, Timothy Hennessy,
Wait,
the dude.
Cat. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You're right. Timothy Hennessy, the guy, is the attorney for Trezell West. Let me just see. The name hers. And Alekxia Torres Stallings is representing Jacqueline West.
Yeah, we'll check that. Yeah, so I was just wondering. I was waiting for her to speak, and I thought that when they were done, she was going to speak, but she just never spoke. But interesting stuff.
Mm.
I think they are going to offer her a deal as long as she's not going to be near him, and I think she's gonna talk.
Oh, well, I hope she does. I really do.
I pray she does. We need to find those babies.
Yeah. I hope they go to her and say, look, you tell us where the boys are, you rat on Trezell, and you'll get a lower sentence.
Well, they'll probably say you're either going to do life in prison without the possibility of parole, or we'll tell us where the boys are and we'll give you 20. And still, that's a long time too.
Yeah, it is, but it's better than life, isn't it?
Yeah, and of course, though, the family of the boys are going to have to approve that, and the way that they're coming off of it, it sounds like they would probably be willing to let her get a lesser sentence to tell them where the boys are.
Yeah. Well, when you weigh it up, what's 10 or 20 extra years when you can. I know they need punishing badly, but the boys have been punished enough and they need to come home. And if it means a few years knocked off a sentence to find out where the boys are and bring them home, I think the biological family would agree to it.
Yeah, I think so too. 20 each, maybe. Yeah, but a lot of people think it. I just have a feeling that she's going to cut a deal. I think Trezell was definitely a control freak in that relationship. Who knows though? Maybe she was the control freak.
Oh, Dorothy, I like that. You're saying exactly what's gone through my head. That's something I would do, I suppose.
Trying to think though, they offered somebody else. It was like a deal to tell them where they were. Trying to think what trial that was. I can't think today. But I remember they said if you were to tell us, we will give you 20. But I mean, who knows if she decides to squeal like a little piggy? It might be a story that it might be mind blowing. I mean, she might have just had nothing to do with it. And Trezell had a temper, and something happened, and who knows what happened.
Well, we don't. All we know
But I'm
the boys
taking
are.
bets. Exactly, but I'm taking bets that Jacqueline's going to talk.
Like I said, I sure hope so.
That's why, Kaz, if that law wasn't in effect, the one that they're trying to pass in, I think it's Utah, where you would have no possibility of a parole, absolutely zero, unless you tell us where the bodies are.
Yeah, I think that's a brilliant law to be brought in.
Brilliant. It's brilliant. Pull their nails one by one until they tell us where they are. Okay, Pamela.
Remind me not to get on your bad side, Pamela.
But we will be doing a live soon to update on the cases. And no, Pamela and Tim Allen, we have not forgotten about you guys. Have we heard anything back from their lawyer by any chance?
Negative.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Negative.
Shredder says a psychic that has been head on thinks Trezell will be the one to break. I'm open to both of them snapping clean today. Maybe Jacqueline is the dominant one in the relationship, and Trezell's her little whoever. Somebody needs to speak. Somebody needs to come. I mean, she's a mother, for God's sake. You have got to tell these people where these babies are.
I wouldn't
If
call
they
her
are,
a mother. She
I
just
know.
birthed a couple of kids. She's not a mother. Birthing a child does not make you a mother.
True. I think Randy got a bad deal though. And I'm still never going to understand why DCF came into a house with what was it, 4 children, including the boys, and and took out the boys, not just the boy that got hurt, and not all the kids, but just those boys. I'll never understand how that system worked.
No, me either, because she wasn't even at the house when the accident occurred, and she was working. So
Yeah, so that I can't say that she was not a good mom. I don't know Randy, and I don't know the history, but what I do know that's weird is I know that it's very weird for it was Orrin who got hurt, the older one, but it's so weird to go into a house and instead of taking out all of them or just the boy that got hurt, why are you taking out the 2 boys? Like that just never made sense to me. Like something went wrong in the system, a big time.
well, unfortunately, it's not a one-off incident.
No,
There's
it's a
so
lot.
many times they've done it wrong.
Harmony, Oakley, there's so many that have got screwed by the system. 50 people on the witness list. Absolutely. I would like to see that too. I mean, of course, I want the trial to be live, but of course, I would rather run them snap and tell them where the babies are and have no trial.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
Yep.
Yeah. But nope, we're going to get some updates, but there's a lot of kids that, and your little guy in Australia.
Yeah.
William Terrell.
Yeah.
He got the shit end of the stick.
He sure did.
And
now the mother, the foster mother, no, she's the adopted mother, has now got 2 charges against her for assault on a child. One being William's sister and an undisclosed other child now.
Yeah, another child she had in her care.
Mm-hmm. I hope so, Jen. I really do.
Who said what?
Oh, Jen said it will be live. Colorado, not so much.
Yeah, Colorado's a pretty tight lip.
Hey, Chisme, how are you, sweetheart?
Hey, Chisme. I'm going to call you after this live, Chisme. But we need to do an update. We have a couple more things on Pamela. Isn't Pamela actually coming up with is that going on right now, her fundraiser? To send something to, wait a second. Yeah, we're going to go live soon, guys, and talk about a couple comments we got. And isn't it ironic, though, that the comments that I put on my community post mentioned Russia, and and I just clicked this together, and she's doing a fundraiser for Ukraine.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. And I'm sorry to tell you, Mom, my husband does not think you could possibly be a kingpin of what she's inferring.
Yeah, Saturday. This past Saturday, she had a big fundraiser for the kids in Ukraine.
Mhm.
Huh. I can call you Shredder. I'll
I
call
can
you
call
Shredder.
Shredder too, but I can't do it over. I can
Yeah,
only get it through.
you can call from the Google number
Doesn't
to the
work over
channel.
here. Doesn't work over here.
Oh, you tried to call from Google Voice?
Yeah.
I told you need to get a good VPN.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Jen, there's threats. They were talking about it's on my community post. It was basically that Kaz, Chisme,
Oh, not me.
Cruella, Karma, and
Uh,
Pamela, we we have Lena, and not only do we have Lena, but we are running a link on my channel that I am connecting, and don't say the word, to the
no.
Russian nudie video type sites to where that we're selling kids into Russia. Okay, okay,
Hmm.
that's exact. How did you
Yeah.
figure that out? You guys are
I mean,
brilliant.
just she knows something we don't know, that we've got millions of dollars that we don't know about, that we can afford a private jet, pay off all custom officials on both ends,
Ugh,
get passports done for all these people. Hmm.
we
Can
were
you tell
talking
me
about
which
you,
bank account's
Teresa.
it in?
I said, look at Teresa Laguna looking for receipts. When you get those receipts, we're looking for them too. I thought that was hilarious. But let me just say this, Chisme, and for you guys, and we're going to pick this up on another day because it's 7 o'clock in the morning for Kaz, and she was the one that said, "Get ready, we got to." The lawyers are dropping. I'm like, well, between you and Pamela from the last one, you give me 5 minutes. I'm like running around like a chicken with my head cut off.
Well,
But
snap, snap.
so we know. Let's just say one more thing. Let me just say this into the Pamela camp and situation, because you know what, we're going back to the beginning and we're getting together. I think tonight, right? You, me, Chisme, to go back and watch some videos that we need to go through that have never been
Yeah,
released to the public. Hey, Nita,
yeah.
we're going back to the beginning, but we're not forgetting about what's going. Like I said before, I never said, "Oh, Pamela, I know you have Lena. I don't know if you have Lena. I don't know if you know where Lena is, but what I do know is that you are a very shady character and you're a thief. Not only that, but your sidekick Shannon, your director, is a thief. And we found another person that is part of this search group, but we'll get into this on the next live. Guess what? Guess what? Guess
What?
what? That one person has a charge. I don't care how long ago this goes back, but guess what?
Oh,
The one person who was big in the search has a charge for.
can I guess, please, please?
Guess.
Um, fraud.
Check theft and fraud.
Oh,
And I'm talking about not Pamela, not Shannon, but there's a third one. But we'll get into that in the next video.
yeah.
We're still looking, but we're going back to the beginning. So yes, Chisme, yes. Chisme said about tonight's perfect. So we're going back to a video, guys. We're gonna watch it. What we're going to do is we're gonna talk through it. We're gonna edit some things out, blur some things, and then we're gonna bring it back to you guys because this video is a video of the playground area super, super busy with a lot of kids and a lot of people, and we do not want to dox any children.
No.
But the question still remains, how did Pamela get there? Who brought her there? And how long has Pamela known Lawang? And I'm trying to reach and find Noor. I've called every Islamic, Turkish, Muslim center in Texas, but I'm almost there.
We've got a message here. Ro sends her thanks
Hey,
and love and
Ro.
prayers.
I ask Ro if she can come on one night and talk to us about the boys. We would love to hear about how they were and what kind of boys they were. We want to hear their story.
Yeah, been nice.
It would be really nice to hear the boys' story. Okay, well, that's it. We'll be going live. What is today? Monday? We'll do our normal Wednesday.
Sounds
And
good.
tomorrow is going to be book club, and I'm going to send everything out in the community post in Discord because we're going to make this one more active, interactive.
Interactive, yeah.
Yep. And that's it. Everyone, thank you for coming in. Keep your babies safe and stay vigilant. And Kaz, thank you.
Thank you, Mom.
Pamela,
Love
thank
you
you.
all.
Love you all, guys. Thanks for coming in and have a good Monday.
Bye.
Bye. That's right, Jen B. The golden question. I think we're going to find out, though. Have a good day, guys.